A patrol. We have to chase them out, he looked at his warriors. On my call, attack them.
So now you know what it feels like to have someone else meddling in your business. Remember this feeling. WindClan wouldn't have deserved such treatment from my clan if it weren't from their meddling in affairs that aren't theirs.
You're mad, his whiskers flicked.
Is it mad to protect my clan?
I know how many of you have heard the horrid rumors spread by SmogStar at the gathering. Glory to ThunderClan! He roared.
Smog stood, rubbing his head against Sleetstar's shoulder. Just don't forget about us, okay?
What's wrong? Too weak to defend your place and honor? He'd calmly pad forward and speak to the leader. How does it feel knowing you and your whole clan is about to die?
WindClan, retreat, head for the barn!
We have done right by StarClan.
This is not the end of WindClan.
With WindClan gone, I look forward to a brighter tomorrow.
Stay behind me, RiverClan. He began to slowly approach.
Sleetstar, such a pleasant surprise. You're to bask in the glory of our victory.
Bitterstar? He paused for a moment, ignoring the question. Why are you still hunting here when you promised it to RiverClan?
Oh, did I? I thought you'd prefer hunting at your new camp treasure of Sunning Rocks. You worked so hard betraying your closest friend for it. Shame to see it sit unoccupied.
He lashed his tail in anger, remembering what he did as he looked away to avoid Bitterstar's prideful gaze.
Your anger precedes you, though it matters little. I'll have SmogStar and what remains of his clan chased from the barn come next full moon.
He looked back at Bitter, his gaze no longer filled with anger, but of fear.
Once we know SmogStar won't return, this land will truly be yours. Until then, it'll be ThunderClan that defends it. He spoke in firm finality.
Sleet opened his mouth to speak, but didn't. He shook off his fear and returned back to the RiverClan patrol.
It's time to relax, Sleetstar. We've won. Rest now, traitor. You've earned it.
Smog woke up with a start, panting as if something had startled him. Sleeping soundly, the medicine cat was awoken by the sudden jolt in the pelt of the cat next to him. Blinking sleepily, he tilted his head at SmogStar with a yawn. We need to leave, he muttered to himself, though Duskvine would have heard it. Looking up with surprise, he said as well, Our warriors are just recovering from the battle. I'm not sure they're ready to travel, he muttered, unsure what exactly the leader meant by leave. He looked out at the waking cats. A mixture of ShadowClan and WindClan cats were aimlessly sitting around the clearing of the barn, a stranger to its sandy ground. You'll understand, he assured. WindClan, gather, he yowled, not bothering to use the traditional gathering call. There was no rock.
Ivorystar turned her head to face the WindClan leader. She seemed puzzled as she walked over.
He studied SmogStar's expression thoroughly, unsure what to make of his sudden decision to leave. Now that we have slept, it is time for us to find a new home. We will eventually return to WindClan once it is safe, but I fear Bitterstar may raid the barn. His tail flicked over his paws. Lowering his head, he sighed quietly, with all the wisdom he had amassed in his years failing him. He had never been in a situation like this, or even imagined anything remotely close. He noticed a lack of ShadowClan warriors before realizing he had only called for his own. There's a stretch of unclaimed land beyond Two Lake Place. We will rest there and decide whether or not to go further.
Smogstar, since we are on the topic of leaving, I will be taking my warriors to ShadowClan. StarClan knows what Bitterstar would do if our territory is not guarded.
I understand. It took a moment for him to accept that he'd be losing ShadowClan's protection. However, I have one last thing to ask of you. He looked up at the two warriors in front of him. I need you to take Sweet Tooth and Pigeon Flight with you and shelter them. During the ambush, they hid in the spare den, but I can no longer protect them here. His eyes finally lifted to rest on the two cats, one of them resembling the looming shadow that was threatening WindClan. It would be the better course of action to send them away. Sweet Tooth exchanged another glance with her brother, her whiskers twitching nervously.
I understand why you would want to protect them, and I hope the best for you and your clan. Sweet Tooth and Pigeon Flight will be under ShadowClan's protection until further notice.
Pigeon Flight's fur bristled at the thought, and he almost stood to speak against the decision, before he backed down and turned his eyes away from the leaders. That's that, then. He stood, trying to feign confidence to help his struggling clan. We will push through this. May StarClan light your path, Ivorystar. He gave her a friendly nudge.
She smiled as she leaped down, giving the siblings a look to follow her.
She got to her paws, giving Ivorystar an awkward smile. He brushed his tail along Smogstar's flank before hopping down. They needed to talk, and this was the best way he could think to let him know without making it obvious to the onlookers. Pigeon looked at the ShadowClan leader, a conflicted look, taking one final look at Smogstar, an almost hurt expression on his face before he turned away to follow. Smogstar leapt down. WindClan, follow me. Woodpecker should stay in the front, behind me. He gestured with his head and then left. We'll be going on the very edge of ThunderClan. Be careful and silent.
He flicked his tail in dismissal to the patrol. He told them to hunt but didn't have it in him to partake. Dim gaze, he called out to his deputy as he padded to his den. The very moment Dim Gaze walked into his leader's den, he had a mouthful to say. This is insanity. He couldn't hold his tongue no longer. It isn't about the prey, it's about the stability. If Bitterstar is overstepping on his word now, how can we be sure he won't do more? Sleet heard the tone in his deputy's voice as anger began to rise his fur. He sat tall before calming down with a sigh. Dim Gaze, he spoke. He gritted his teeth but said nothing in reply, only moving to sit himself down under Sleetstar's gaze, giving the Tom his full attention. Despite Bitterstar still being in WindClan, RiverClan is thriving now, he spoke up, trying to be happy. We don't have to worry about prey or border issues. But the deputy narrowed his eyes at that but. He tried to put the words in his mind. He couldn't see what happened to Smog during the fight. We need to get WindClan back, he spoke. Dimgaze's brows shot up at that. Sleetstar, have you thought this through? He murmured, gaze hyper-focused on the silvery gray feline in front of him. Doing this could risk war with ThunderClan. Truth be told, Dimgaze wasn't at all against the idea. The forest needed 4 clans to survive. It was a warning as old as time, but to jump into this decision so suddenly. Perhaps he was too anxious now that his son was born. Still, he'd hear his leader out, just like he always did. Sleet looked at Dimgaze. He kept pausing to think. We just need to find WindClan without Bitterstar knowing. A grimace filled the Chimera Tom's face. Without any ThunderClaner finding out? He repeated Sleetstar's plan aloud with a small scoff. Still, he flanked down at his paws for a moment in thought before peering back up at him. I'm sure there is a way, but it'll be hard. I will send out search patrols at night, he spoke, this time with finality and confidence. Dimgaze held Sleetstar's gaze, just staring at him for a moment as he pondered about the plan. Eventually, he nodded his approval. Okay, alright, he huffed. It can work. But it'll be as risky as sneaking into a badger's den. You have to be sure of this decision this time. Dimgaze, he stared at his deputy, a glint of hope in his eyes. Thank you. Not asking this task lightly. You're the only warrior I know who can lead this plan properly. A low, humorless smile appeared on the Tom's face. So you're leaving me to pick up the pieces now? He got to his paws, slowly, unthreateningly. Well, as you know, I'm not one to disappoint. We will save WindClan. It was a promise. This is why you're my deputy. For once, Sleetstar felt like a leader again. A chuckle, a true, genuine bit of laughter escaped Dimgaze's throat. You are quite the piece of work, Sleetstar. He leaned forward to touch his nose to the Tom's forehead before pulling back and padding out of his den. You're dismissed. He flicked his tail before speaking once more. Dim gaze. Thank you. Sleet got up and walked towards the RiverClan rock. Aakash, old enough to swim through the river, gathered for a clan meeting. He yelled to his clan. I will be leading a patrol to find WindClan, he spoke up, his voice loud and clear. We will all be going, and we will not be coming back until we find them. He stared at Dim Gaze with his Sleetstar eyes before jumping down into the clearing. Everyone else will go, he stared towards his warriors. I barely know how to fight. How can I protect the two? What if ThunderClan comes? We will be fine, he assured the medicine cat. RiverClan, let's go. He began to walk out of the camp.
This is the land. His whiskers twitched, but ThunderClan can still see us from their border. Bolt Blossom scrunched their snout at the unfamiliar sense. Can't we go more deeper within? He questioned. Do you think that's wise? He looked to Pepper Billow and then to Duskvine. All of this was giving the Tom anxiety. His maw was filled with all the herbs he could carry. We need to walk further, he nodded. All right. His ears twitched. This is sheltered enough, and we are still next to the stream by Two Leg Place. All of you, exit the tunnel from where we came, and mark as far out as you can get, without going over the Thunder Path or close to ThunderClan. Pepper Billow, lead this patrol. Yes, Smogstar. He nodded, dismissing them as he padded further into the cave. It's very pretty, he commented. The howling wind was lashing into his face as he squinted out into the distance. It's not our home. We can't go home, he added. I don't know what to do. There is only one thing we can do, he sighed, looking down at his paws, but I fear we may not have the strength to do so. What, fight? He glanced over. I'm on one life, and we have lost many warriors. We deserve time to rest. We have vast land to hunt, and water nearby. That's all we need. About fighting, he trailed off. That apprentice. Why did you defend him? That, he started, his muscles suddenly tensing. It would be a lie to say he hadn't thought about Emberpaw, when it really had been everything his mind concerned itself with. Emberpaw. He started again, his fur prickling with anxiety. Emberpaw is... Why was this so hard? He swallowed dry. This is harder than when he had told Emberpaw the truth. He squinted. That apprentice led me to becoming weakened when I fought Bitterstar. I could be mad at you, but I choose to believe there's a reason. He closed his eyes, taking a shaky breath. Do you remember when Tumblestar sent me to RiverClan to be taught to be a medicine cat, since Melrose Sherp was exiled before teaching me? He stayed quiet, but nodded. This was something bigger than he thought. I met a cat. Stormpaw, he mumbled. Even after I became a medicine cat, and she a warrior, I continued meeting her. His voice was almost swallowed by the wind that was howling past the cliff. Emberpaw is your son? He asked sincerely. Stormrose and I... He paused, then looked over at Smogstar, genuine pain gruesomely twisting his expression. She died when he was born. He blinked sympathetic eyes at Duskvine. I'm sorry. I can see why Emberpaw is so important to you. He looked away, trying to pretend he himself hadn't shared the pain of a cross-clan relationship. I never meant to betray you. He lowered his head. I knew it was wrong, and I didn't do enough to prevent it from happening. I can't fault you for loving beyond our borders. They're WindClan's borders, not yours. You're a medicine cat, remember? He tried to find a way to imply Duskvine hadn't broken the code. He looked to the setting sun, reflected in the shimmering waves on the ocean beyond. Once again, I do not fault you for this. We're the same, you and I. Thank you, Smogstar, he said, finally looking at him again. I hope we can find a way to return to our home. We will, he dipped his head. Have you chosen an apprentice to help you during this? I haven't, he said, sighing. I have not had a chance to give it any thought, though. He lowered his head. The cat I was considering was killed in the battle. Take your time, he brushed off the comment of the apprentice that had been killed. But please, do prioritize it. Duskwisp, he dipped his head, following Woodpecker and Rentumble as they approached. Duskwisp snuck up and whispered quietly. There hasn't been a single piece of prey in these woods. I'm worried that the clan is anxious about it. We can't stay here, not when there isn't any food, I add. He frowned. Nothing at all. Not a single mouse. I reluctantly shake my head. I suppose the clans chose the forest for a reason, he sighed. Duskwisp turned towards Smogstar again. It's barren. I tried to reason that they hid, or Two Legs wouldn't settle here without it, but I saw nothing. He nodded. Okay. We will sleep here and figure this out at sunrise. Soon, your bellies will be full, but not tonight. I could only blink, my complexion worried. Okay. Duskwisp glanced to the other warriors. I can survive one night, Smogstar. I'm just worried that our apprentices are growing more and more exhausted. They are, he agreed. I promise something better soon. He settled in the crevice of the cave, sighing and pressing his fur against the wall of it. He curled up, tucking his cold nose under his tail as he drifted off into a cold sleep. Smogstar stirred when an odd scent filled the cave. His hackles rose at the sight of RiverClan cats.
Sleetstar stared at the Smogstar-shaped cat in the hole. Smogstar, is that you? He
winced, hearing his name in Sleetstar's maw. He didn't reply.
He ran up to Smogstar with joy, forgetting what he had done days prior.
He stumbled slightly as Sleet pushed his pelt against his, but he didn't move any more than that. Why are you here? He suspiciously stared at Sleetstar, muscles tensed and ready to defend his leader.
I came looking for you, he began, holding back tears. I'm sorry for driving you out. Bitter isn't holding his end of the deal.
What deal? He bristled. Is that why you teamed with him and drove me out? His jaw clenched at that mention. He would love nothing more than to drag the Silver Tom off of Smogstar's side.
Bitter promised us land and prey if we helped to drive WindClan out. But I regret taking that offer every second I think about you. I will never forgive myself. Sleetstar looked away, avoiding Smogstar's gaze.
His whiskers twitched as he looked up. Duskvine, go see what the other RiverClan cats are doing. I smell more than just Sleetstar. He wanted to disobey. He wanted to stay and protect the other cat, but he eventually sighed, giving up and padding away. Sit, he said, almost in a demand. I don't care to fight with you. That isn't a burden our clan should carry. But don't let that make you think that I forgive you for this.
Sleet knew he wouldn't be forgiven. Ivorystar's willing to help us drive out Bitterstar.
And where does my clan sleep until then?
You'll stay in RiverClan. With us. Bitter is sending constant patrols through your territory. It isn't safe for you.
Aren't you supposed to be sharing it, since you helped rid us of it? He mocked in a spiteful tone. Fine. I will gather my warriors and we will leave with you, for the better of the clan.
Sleet said nothing more. He just wanted his friend back.
WindClan, he called, positioning himself on a higher rock. RiverClan has offered us refuge in their camp. Sleetstar is adamant that he and Ivorystar will help us rid the forest of Bitterstar. That being said, even under the shelter of RiverClan, I still remain on one life. We need a deputy. Pepperbillow, step forward. You are my kin. You are one of the strongest warriors that still fights with us today, even after a great war. You will serve this clan with every breath you have left. Pepperbillow dipped his head with a soft smile on his face. Yes, Smogstar. Thank you. He turned to face the feline once more. He didn't stop to hear the cries of disapproval from his clan about residing with RiverClan. His deputy was chosen, and it was time to leave. Follow Sleetstar and dim gaze.
Bitterstar padded out into the clearing, searching for someone. Looking around camp, Mousepelt felt that strange feeling again. She had a contemplative look on her face. He scanned until his eyes landed on Mousepelt. Mousepelt, let's talk. His tone ominous. Mousepelt got up, feeling a tightness in her chest. All right. You got it. She spoke awkwardly, visibly nervous about what Bitterstar had to say. Mousepelt sat, eyeing her leader from head to paw. She remained silent, waiting for Bitterstar to speak. Mousepelt, something I've long since suspected has come to light, and I just wanted to make my stance clear. I know what you did. Mousepelt felt her heart pounding in an instant. I'm sorry? What are you saying? I don't think I'm following. Is there something I did wrong? His expression laid calm and control, as his eyes showed nothing but an icy blue glaze. Bristlefang and Fallen Leaf were no accident. When I investigated the scene of their untimely demise myself, there was more than just the scent of two cats and a fox. Have anything you'd like to share? Mousepelt's eyes shifted to the floor. I don't know, I tried to warn them. I was only trying to help, Bitterstar. She clung to the lie. Listen, I see a fire in you. It's the same fire I see in myself. It's the same reason I chose you to be my deputy. However, let me make one point very clear. He sat up, posturing himself forebodingly over Mousepelt. I have no tolerance for any suspicious behavior. If I even gain a whiff of any traitorous activity, death will be the only saving grace from me. Mousepelt locked eyes with Bitterstar, horrified, thinking. She looked down, resigned. Yes, of course. You don't need to tell me twice. She spoke, autopiloting to her usual cheerful facade. Good. Now run along and keep playing deputy. We have a lot more work to do. Mousepelt nodded, scrambling out of the den without another word.
He dipped his head at Ember Tiger. Prepared to take care of double the cats, Sleet joked.
We have a medicine cat. He turned around. Better to be back in the forest, right? Can we eat something? Even fish? We're hungry. We will be home soon. This is temporary. And now we actually have food and water. I'll ask Sleetstar about prey. It looked like his clan had already emptied the pile of everything but the fish. He grabbed the slimy fish, patting away. He gave a look to Emberpaw, shifting a bit before continuing. Smogstar let out a yawn. His clan was adjusting well. He watched his deputy speak with RiverClans. They were getting along well. Ember rushed in, having left together moss for him and his brother to play, but spotted a rather frightening sight. He rushed back to camp faster than he'd ever ran before. "Bitterstar!" he mewed loudly, out of breath. "He's here! He's coming!" "Bitterstar?"
Emberpaw, calm down. What's going on?
He took a moment to catch his breath. "ThunderClan patrol, near the camp. I was out, and, Is Bitterstar a part of it?" He shook his head. Ember would never forget that frame. "No, I don't think so." He nodded. "Either way, WindClan needs to hide. Into the warrior's den now!"
Sleetstar, our scent will give us away, she meowed worried, ears pinned. Ember watched. She tapped her paws as she sweated. She swallowed as she listened. "No, it will not," he spoke confidently. "The other clan will not know the scent of WindClan from the river." He looked at the water near the entrance. "The smell of fish will cover the scent. They're hidden as well as they can be." The deputy patted up, urgency still sparking in his paws. Hesitantly, the she-cat gave a small nod, unsure but willing to help. "I'll scan the edges of camp in case," she mewed quietly. "Just stay near me. I will speak to the patrol." "Be careful, for the love of stars," he barked back to Autumn Heart. "And act natural." He dipped his head to dim gaze, signaling for him to come with. "Sleetstar," she greeted in mocking respect. His movements were still and quiet as he stalked over, never moving an inch from Sleetstar's side. "You've been summoned to Fortress for an emergency meeting from Bitterstar. There will be no real delays, I hope." He nodded. "Thank you, Pineapple." He dipped his head in respect. "You know how Bitterstar can be," his voice dripping with malice? No, something. "Bring your clan as well." "Is that all?" Dimgaze forced his claws to stay in their place. He turned, nodding to his patrol, only glancing back then leaving. The very moment the cat trotted off, Dimgaze ripped around to face Sleetstar. "This is odd." Odd was an understatement. This was troubling, nerve-wracking. "An emergency meeting?" he questioned with dim gaze before coming back. "The patrol is gone," he spoke up. "It's safe to leave the den now."
What did they want?
Sleet looked towards Smogstar. "Bitter is calling for an emergency meeting. I do not know what it's for."
Probably because he couldn't find WindClan, he pondered. "We're going to come with."
"You need to stay in camp," he said, hiding his fear. "You're only down to one life."
"I'll sit inside of RiverClan's group so no cat can get to me. I need to be there to show Bitterstar we aren't so easily rid of."
Sleet wanted to retort, but didn't. "We must leave now, then."
He followed.
"RiverClan, let's go. We're going to the gathering."
Well, I suppose I called you all here, so it's probably best I let you know why. I just wanted to invite you all here and bask in our victory. We 3 clans are the survivors of the pests that are WindClan. With WindClan gone, I can finally breathe air that doesn't stench of more rats. It's a breath I invite with open arms. Bitter says, trying his best to agitate the not-so-hidden Smog. Too bad Smog was such a poor leader. My point didn't make its way to him until I slashed it down his throat. He stared directly at Smog, punctuating his words.
A chill rippled down Smogstar's spine, but he kept composure. He stepped forward, passing Emberpaw, and staring at the ThunderClan warriors. ThunderClan, I know there are cats among you that see through this excuse of a leader's lies. Black Ice's gaze fell on the Tom with amusement. His own ambition will be the death of him, and he'll take you down too. He is using you in place of his own claws. If you stay with him, you will die fighting his battle, one you never had a say in. RiverClan and ShadowClan are on our side. Come with us, instead of trying to cover this coward's facade.
Such a bold statement. I didn't know you had it in you. Anger seeping into his tone, feigning composure.
I pity the fool that doesn't see how numbered he is. He wrinkled his nose.
Cats of all clans. Allow me to further emphasize why exactly Smogstar is currently clinging to life. Here's one final warning to you, Smog. In one quick motion, he grabs Ivorystar by the neck, holding her over the edge.
Sleetstar spoke up. Bitterstar, you can't! The truce! He yelled to the ThunderClan leader.
Her muffled maw. There is no truce, you mousebrain. This was never a meeting to be held in peace. Smogstar decided that the moment he dared place a paw into the clearing.
She lets out a scream, clawing lightly at the rock. However, something didn't work. Please, Bitterstar, don't do this! Her cries were muffled by the sharp teeth sinking into her neck.
Your quarrel is with me, Bitterstar, he yowled. Let her go!
As you wish. He drags her up and places her down gently, patting her back with his tail.
Sleet sighed in relief that Ivorystar is okay.
After a brief moment, a pause that felt too short and yet infinitely long for onlookers, Bitter suddenly rears, slashing her throat to her chest, killing her instantly.
Smogstar let out a horrible screech, freezing.
Poor Ivorystar. Another innocent life lost because of Smog. What was it you said? Pity the fool. Pity the fool who thought she could play hero, he says as he shoves her off the rock. Only she kept her own clan. Maybe she could have been spared. He began to lick the blood from his claws.
He padded up to her, expecting her to stand, but she didn't. The fall must have taken her other life that she had left. Black Ice on the other paw felt no difference. Perhaps too clouded by his loyalty to Bitterstar's leadership, he saw no issue with this.
Let's get out of here, he says to Smog, concerned for his safety.
He nodded, touching his nose to Ivory's pelt for a moment before following Sleet. Smogstar, Mousepelt began, paws trembling. She looked side to side, uncertain. I want you to know that you aren't alone, here. I'm willing to do what I can, and I know there are some in ThunderClan who feel the same as me. You want to help us. You realize this means driving out Bitterstar, right? Mousepelt nodded, slowly, feigning hesitance. I'm done trying to pretend to make an effort. I want to help ThunderClan escape this grim future. Good. He spoke quietly, aware of the possibility Bitterstar was still watching. Lead a patrol to RiverClan tomorrow. We will plan our approach then. Mousepelt nodded. May StarClan light your path, she spoke, slinking back to the bushes to rejoin her clan. Smogstar slid into the shelter of the warrior's den, shaking his pelt to rid it of the rain before laying down.
That all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather around the high rock for a clan meeting, shaking the rain off his pelt as he spoke. He looks down at the gathering of cats before him. Why do I see disdain in your eyes, ThunderClan? Why do I see distrust in your paws? You do realize everything we've done has been for the betterment of us. Everything I've done. Does my sacrifice mean nothing? Does the blood in my paws carry no weight? Does the blood in yours mean nothing as well? We have fought and killed for this notion of something greater. And yet, here you all are, wasting it. Don't let Smogstar's words infest your brain. Don't let him believe we're weak enough to falter to his flailing tongue. Allow me to further emphasize what importance loyalty holds. He patted to Mousepelt. Mousepelt stood, fur bristling. Bitterstar. Mousepelt. Here. Now. Gesturing for him to get off the rock. Sheepishly, she walked off the rock. Mousepelt, care to enlighten me as to why you spoke to Smogstar at the meeting? I was just... She looked around frantically. I was telling him not to come back. I was doing what you asked of me, sir, boss. As Mousepelt spoke, Bitter slowly approached her, backing her down to the ground. What did I tell you? He gets right up in her ear as he yells. What did I tell you? You did this to yourself. She looked at him, terrified. You wouldn't! I did so much for you! For a chance! She cried. Well, your luck's dried up. He places a paw firmly on the back of her head, keeping her firmly pinned down. Mousepelt tried to get out, flailing, struggling. Her heart was pounding with a burning desire to fight back, but it wasn't enough. His claws drawing blood as he pressed her head down. He craned over, biting into her throat, ending the show once and for all. He slowly lifted his head, wiping the blood off his claws on Mousepelt's corpse. Now, I suppose it's time to pick my next deputy. He scanned the crowd, knowing exactly who he wanted in an instant. Black Ice, he called. Step forward. He willed himself to his paws, patting in between the crowd. Do you vow to honor the clan, and honor me, in life and death? He looked between Mousepelt's body and Bitterstar, leveling his gaze with the leader. I do, sir. Then I welcome you as the new deputy of ThunderClan. May your strength lead us to greatness. Now, wiping his claw one final time off from the corpse beneath him. Someone get this rat carcass out of my camp. We have important things to get to. He said nothing more as he padded into his den.
Smogstar finally rose, tired from the night's gathering. He padded out to enjoy the sun, waiting for it to rise. Thank you for all of your help, he murmured as he approached Sleetstar. I could be mad at you forever, but even if you hadn't helped Bitter, I still feel like it would have turned out this way.
Sleet dipped his head. I'm just glad you're back, he responded, with a soft tone.
Smog padded up to the approaching cats. Smogstar, Cricket Crawl greeted. This is plenty of cats, he lied, thankful for just the few that came. Where is Mousepelt? She looked at her clanmates, sighing. She's gone. Bitterstar killed her in front of the whole clan. Smogstar flinched. It was just like he'd done to Ivorystar. We came here because we couldn't be next. He's out of control. Okay. We will win this fight. Keep your anger for then. Bitterstar's madness has to be stopped. We're here to do whatever we can to put a stop to him. For the safety of my clanmates. His ears perked as more cats approached. This is all of ShadowClan? These are the cats that were willing to come along, she said, with a tired tone. Okay. Either way, we outnumber ThunderClan. He turned around. Sleetstar, may I use the wet rock?
He dipped his head.
Redirect your attention to me, he yowled. We are going to raid ThunderClan with one goal, drive out Bitterstar, even if killing him is what it takes. Bitterstar is our only target. Only harm ThunderClan cats if you must do so in self-defense. This is for every cat Bitter has killed. Our Dovebreeze, ShadowClan's Ivorystar, and ThunderClan's Mousepelt. We go now, he yowled, rallying them and leaving swiftly. Find Bitterstar and pin him. Now! He yelled out across the camp.
He froze. His mind shot through all the possibilities and realized he was outnumbered. He said nothing as he stared on.
Back up, he growled. He sat in a calm, almost taunting way. How does it feel, knowing your claws and teeth hold no meaning here?
Bitterstar spat. Having fun yet?
You've had your time to play ancestors, he snapped. Give it up.
Like I'd ever bow to the lanky Tom with a silver tongue.
Oh, but you listen to the stars. You do know who's up there, right? The cats you've killed. Do you feel Dovebreeze watching you up there? Do you think she's proud?
Proud? I avenged her. I saved her. From you! You turned her against me. You made me kill her. It was all you! The stars guide me. The stars... He trailed off as he looked up to the sky, noticing the clouds.
His tail waved over his ankles as he watched the pride dim from Bitterstar's gaze.
They're black and cold. Bitterstar stirred uneasy, staring into the void. The whirlpool of always done.
There isn't a single cat here with a hair of sense in their brain that wants you in the forest. Leave, or we will kill you.
For the first time in Bitter's life, he resigned. He nodded blankly at the lanky Tom he once taunted endlessly. He just nodded. Nothing behind his eyes, as shame built.
He gestured with a paw for the two to let him up.
Shame turns to anger and disgust. Bitter grunts loudly as he slashes across Smogstar's eyes, blinding him before fleeing.
No! No! Duskvine rushed to Smogstar's side, yelling out in a horrified worry. He let out a horrible sound as he dropped to the ground. He reached out towards Duskvine's voice, confused. He stood and turned, but faltered again, falling.
He looked at Smog, touching his pout with Sleet's nose. Smog?
The medicine cat quickly moved down, checking his leader for any sign of life. He was relieved, but only barely as he spoke. You're alive, but... He tried to reach towards Sleetstar, more so for comfort rather than help as the rain washed the blood from his eyes. He fully collapsed, passing out. Smog woke up to the feeling of soft moss beneath him. His nose was filled with the smell of herbs, and he realized he was in the medicine den. Duskvine, he called out, hoping he was near. He couldn't see, but he recalled losing his vision far before he fell unconscious. He wasn't distressed. Duskvine sat up straight, hearing Smog and quickly standing up to approach the cat. Smogstar, you're awake. Thank the stars. I'm afraid I couldn't save your eyesight. He shook his head. It's okay, that's not what I'm worried about. Bitterstar. Where? The cat's fur bristled at the name, but he spoke, firmly and reassuringly. He ran. Like the mouseheart he truly is. There has been no sign of him. Pepperbillow has been ensuring that everyone is settling back in, restocking and recovering. Oh, thanks StarClan. He shakily pushed himself onto his paws. Get me to the tall rock. Duskvine quickly stepped over to support Smogstar, pressing his side to the leaders. Of course. Careful now. I'm good, he murmured, letting his remembrance lead his paws to the rock. He sniffed the air. The cats had already gathered. They probably did the moment they saw him leave the medicine den. WindClan. We have won, he said weakly. We are home, and so are the other clans. ThunderClan is recovering under new leadership. Bitterstar is gone. All of that said, I am still on one life, and my eyes... His whiskers twitched. I will be stepping down from my position as leader to live out the rest of my days relaxed in the Elder's Den. I will still be here to watch our clan grow, and our young strive to become warriors. The cats didn't seem to object. He was old, after all. I will be passing my leadership onto Pepperbillow. He has taken care of the clan while I was recovering, and has always been worthy of being a leader. I entrust that he will lead our clan to a brighter tomorrow.